This is the last class about healing with light and color. And this is part 3 of healing with color. And we're going to just recap through really quickly go through the PowerPoint and where we got up to slide number 19. So we'll go quickly through the first 18. I'm going to share the screen and we'll just turn it on here. It's not working. Okay. There's a security warning. All right, so I just have to go like that. I don't see how I can actually show it. This won't let me do the slideshow. Why?
But on the bottom, do you see on the bottom?
Which bottom?
The bottom of the screen on the right-hand side, it should have like the screen, the slide screen.
Yeah, but it won't because it won't. There's a security thing on it.
No, put enable content.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I'm trying, and it won't let me.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's maybe I go out of it and I go back into it. I also have another one. I have 2 here. Maybe I'll use the other one. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's stop sharing. But no, I'm not going to share screen yet. Let me find it first. There's 2 PowerPoints. Maybe the other one will work better. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that one doesn't have that funny feature. So here I can share the screen. Here we go. Okay, so and here, but I still don't see the option for actually doing the PowerPoint. But anyway, this is all the review. We talked about the 5 colors of the eye. We talked about how they correspond to Ayelet HaShachar. And we talked about how they correspond to a letter in Hashem's name, a sphira, an angel, an element, and a shepherd. And then we learned about the white color, that's chesed. We already learned about that. We learned about the red color, and we learned about the green color. And here is where we got up to. Why did I think it's number 19? But this is where we got up. I wish I could make the nice slide, but you can hardly see it. So dark. It's not the way I made it. But this is what I want to talk about a lot about. So I'm going to highlight it so you can better read it. Maybe with pink. It will be prettier. Okay. So this is now my favorite color, Techelet. Okay, so there's 2 opinions of what Sphirite corresponds to. If you turn back for a moment to your handout, and you will see, here we started with, we do start with slide 14, Techelet. So in text number 11, it says that Chachmah, wisdom, corresponds to Techelet, the Techelet of the tzitzit. As Rabbi Meir asked, how does Techelet different from all the other colors? Now you will know my secret, why I always love to wear Techelet. Okay, Techelet resembles the sea resembles the heaven resembles the throne of glory. That part, the last part, is from the Talmud. The first part about the Sphira of Chachmah is from the Zohar. And then we see in text number 12, another text, the text of the Arizal, says that Techelet corresponds to Malchut, which is the aspect of the last He that's lacking in Hashem's name. Because until the redemption, God's name is not complete. As long as Amalek still exists in the world, we need still to bring God back down on earth, give him the last He. And Techelet symbolizes that. So again, we have to hold this paradox, both of Chachmah, which is one of the highest Sfirot, and Malchut is one of the lowest. In a way, we could say that Techelet has this very long span from the highest to the lowest. And so in the Gemara, and based on the Gemara, Rashi says that Techelet is a color from the Chalazon snail. And it is connected with the word Tachlit. I'll send you on the chat if I can while I'm sharing the screen. I don't know if I can actually. Not so easy. Can't at this moment. So it says in the Shmot, the colors that are used for the Mishkan, for the tabernacle, Techelet, Argaman, Tulat, Shani, Shesh, Ve'izim. Techelet, which is the sky blue or indigo color, Argaman, which is purple, Tulat Shani, which is like crimson red, Shesh is a white color, and Izim and goat skin, which is not exactly a color. So the tzitzit must have in the Torah both, it says it must have a string of Techelet in it, as we see in text number 13 from the book of Bamidbar. Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them that they shall make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the generation, and they shall affix a thread of sky blue on the fringe of each corner, and you shall see it. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and then I can see you. I want to talk a little bit about, the Techelet and the new discoveries that we have. There's been a gradual discovery of this color, and it began in the 16th century. And there was the Rabbi Ruzhin, who wrote a lot about the importance of Techelet, and he thought that it was made from like a fish without a shell that's called a squid. But the problem with his, and that was in the 18th century, I believe, the problem with his theory was that you cannot produce the indigo color from that squid. I don't know if I have a whole book about the Techelet. You cannot see it because of my background. So I have to take away the background so that you could see it. Well, it's anyway mirror. So the first person who he thought, I wanted to see if I could find a picture of what he thought it was like. This is it, what he thought, the Rebbe of Ruzhin, that this is the kind of fish that's called a squid that produces something like an octopus that produces that indigo blue, sky blue color. However, the problem was, in order to make that color, you have to add a chemical to whatever ink the fish exudes. And that is not what the Gemara says. Now, I have this string here, some extra string. This is the color, okay? This is the color I like. And we're going to see all the different things it presents. It's very deep, and it's not for nothing that the Torah says you must have a string of Techelet in your tzitzit. It's not enough to have them just one white color. It doesn't even have to be white. There's different discussion. The tzitzit should have the same color as the garment that it's on it. So if your garment is purple, then the tzitzit should be purple, but it has to have a Techelet string in it. Other opinion says no, the tzitzit should always be white. In order to make sure that we cover both opinions, most talitim are white, so that the string is both the same color of the garment, plus they're also white, so that it covers both opinions, but it must have a Techelet string in it, like we saw in Bamidbar. And there are different ways to tie them. This is how my husband ties it from Rav Amram Hagaon. There is, I lost it on the, I had it up. There is a website that's called Petil Techelet, where it explains every question you have about Techelet. And I'm going to give you the link to one part of the site. Hold on, I have it here. Here is the, here's the timeline. So you could see like what was discovered when. We live in very exciting times that the Techelet has been rediscovered. That's part of the redemption process. And here, I'm going to put this on a chat, so you can check it out. Really interesting. It's in English and it talks about it. For me, it's extremely interesting. So I want to, yes, you want to say something, Lena?
I have a question, Davidson. I've seen tzitzits instead of with the blue, with the black. Does that mean that it's not kosher?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean black? Oh, you mean the string here? You mean
yeah?
No.
On the string, instead of having the blue string, it has black. Yes, you see, this is blue.
It must be blue. Techelet is blue. Most people say this has to be white, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not kosher. It's just not fulfilling the mitzvah of Techelet. And now, but I want to tell you, because that's one of the arguments why every man should put Techelet. I'm going to show you all the proofs that we really have found the right Techelet. So very, very, very exciting. I mean, I'm going to give you a synopsis of some of the proofs because it's like a whole big book. Okay. And it's not that squid. It is, it is snail that's in the water. And this is how it looks. And inside it is that kind of octopus-like creature that lives inside of the shell of the snail. Beautiful purple snail. And I will explain it to the best of my ability. But just to relate to what Rina said is a lot of people are afraid to do something new in the world. But they will say, well, you know, my Rebbe didn't wear that, but they didn't discover it. Then what can you do? You know, if something new, how can we ever welcome the Mashiach? That's going to be something new, isn't it? And so one of the arguments against being afraid to do something new is even if it isn't the right Techelet, which most likely it is, you're going to be convinced. I'm going to convince you soon, B'ezrat Hashem. But even if it wasn't the right one, it's not disqualified. It's not a sin to wear a fake Techelet. It's only what it talks about in the Gemara that was forbidden is when people purposely misled others and used a fake Techelet. They had something in the time of the Gemara and the Mishnah called Kala Ilan. It was a blue dye made from a plant material, which was much cheaper than the Techelet. And so some people were trying to make money off the God-fearing Jewish people, and they would sell the false Techelet It's much cheaper for the same price as Techelet, of real Techelet, and they will mislead them to think it was the real Techelet. And that is not allowed. But that's not the same as using a Techelet that's most likely the right Techelet, and in case it isn't, it's not forbidden to use it. It's because instead of the white, you're allowed to have other colors. So if you don't have Techelet, you are supposed to use white. That's what people did all these centuries, or many centuries. People did not have Techelet, and the tzitzit was just white. But the white part of the tzitzit is allowed to be any color. So if you don't have Techelet, you could have any color. So even if it was so what I'm trying to say is, we have now an opportunity to, not we, but our husbands, if we're married, or the men that we know, they have the opportunity to do the mitzvah from the Torah, mitzvah Doraita. And just in case it's not right, it's not a sin. So why will people not do it? It's all political. And that's so sad. And that's why we don't have the Mashiach yet. Because we should be excited for the new mitzvah, that we can do that. We couldn't do for thousands of years because we hadn't discovered how to make, we didn't have to Techelet, now we do. Okay, so let's just see. If we go to that link, you could see the timeline of how it was discovered, just really, really quick. And we'll see the healing quality of this specific color. And I'm going to now share the screen again. Hopefully it will work. Where is it? Here. Here. So you see, in the 18th century, it was the beginning of finding different things. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is not, this is about this is the whole history. I wanted to go to the end part when we rediscovered it. So that's the Rajana Rebbe in 1888. But he thought it was a different fish. But he's the pioneer in quest and looking for the Techelet. And here is in 1913, Rabbi Isaac Herzog. He found out that the Murex Trunculus is the most likely candidate for the Source of Techelet. Its dye was not pure blue, because it was actually purple, and it only became Techelet with exposure to the sun. Okay, there's a whole lot of things, and you can look at it, later. But we have the Techelet Institute that was established in 1985, and that's in writing the book. Oh, this is from Menachem Bornstein. He was sure that we have found it. Okay, so lots more about it. But now I'm going to go through the proofs. Okay, I know we want to get to the meditations and all these things, but I just can't not explain you this. First of all, and today I went over all the sources just to double check, and it's all true. It says in the Gemara, where do you find the source of the snail that makes the Techelet? We found it between Tyre and Haifa. I think Tyre is in Lebanon or something like that. So digs near Haifa and Tyre in 1882 revealed the remains of a dye factory, which had mounds with thousands of Murex shells broken to access the dye stuff. Exactly in a place where it's written in the Gemara Menachot. And so that's, I have many more. I'm only giving you some of the proofs, okay? Now, how do we, another support that it was a snail with a hard shell and not a squid, which doesn't have a shell, like the Raj and the Rebbe said, is that it says in Talmud, in Sechet Shabbat, it says that you're not allowed to break the snail. You're not allowed to like crack it open on Shabbat, the snail that you make from it techelet. And the word that's used is potseach, which means to strike with force, and it has to be hard like a shell. So from that Talmudic passage, they learn that the techelet must have be from an animal that has a hard shell, like a snail, like a yeah. And then the Gemara also suggests, also in Menachot, there's a lot, many pages about techelet there, that affixing wool strings to a linen garment is permitted for the mitzvah of tzitzit, because usually wool and linen is not permitted, shatnez. But then they're concerned. However, the rabbis say, no, we don't allow it because maybe people will use fake. They will use fake techelet, kala indigo, instead of techelet. And then they would not fulfill the mitzvah of ritual fringes, and therefore they should not have wear a garment with wool and linen. And today we do not wear a garment with wool and linen. Now, my main point here is that they had a fake techelet in the time of the Gemara, and they even and it's mentioned 6 times at least. I found it 6 times in the Talmud. Kala ilan, made from a plant. So if the techelet they found now that you can make the exact color and it stays forever, this color, if that is also not the right one, if it would be fake. And they have found a piece of cloth from the time of the Mishnah that was made from this snail that they could check in the laboratory, the Trunculus, the Murex Trunculus. They had that in the time of the Mishnah. They found this, they excavated and found it. So if they had this color made from this snail in the time of the Mishnah, if it wasn't the right techelet, wouldn't they warn and say this is another fake techelet, it looks the same? Wouldn't they warn? That for me is the strongest argument. They would have to say there's another similar to techelet, just like they say there's kalailan, there is Murex Trunculus. They all look like techelet, but they're fake. But it never said that about Murex Trunculus, even though they had it available to them in the time of the Mishnah. And for me, that is the biggest proof that we have now found it. You know, and other proof is that they found, like next to the Temple Mount, they found a whole, like they found like a hole in the dikes of Jerusalem's Mount Zion, dating from the Second Temple period, near the homes of the Kohanim. They found like dozens of Murex Trunculus shells in those digs. Okay, so are you convinced that we have found the right one now? Tell me, are you convinced now? Tell me, unmute yourself and tell me. Or if you have questions about it, let me know.
I love this. So interesting, Rebbitzin. Really fascinating about the techelet.
Yeah, so if you're married, tell your husband he has to get it. Order it from the website Betil Techelet.
Oh, the website you posted? I was just going to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I posted the timeline, but you could just Google around in that same website and you'll see where you can order it. B'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go on a little bit more. And I also have prepared some meditations for you. Don't worry. Hi, Rebecca. Mazel tov to Rebecca. You look so great. Where's your baby, Piana?
Oh, she's so cute. She's right here. I'll bring you over. I'm just charging up the phone.
I am just
So
so happy.
over, she's resting. She's really, thank God. And you should know, our beautiful class really inspired me for her name. I've always loved the name Ayelet as a gazelle. And when she was born, she really, she looked like a sweet gazelle in the doe of the dawn. She was born after midnight. But Ayelet really was, I was connecting to it.
What we learned about.
Yeah. And I was connecting during Hanukkah so much to meditating on the lights with Ayelet and seeing the Adom and the Yarok and the Levan and the Techelet.
Wow.
So Ayelet was just so apropos of the light within the darkness. Yeah, she was born right after Hanukkah. My little Sivan is telling you.
Where is she?
Here's Sivan. Here's my little 7-year-old.
I want to see the baby. Hi,
Yeah, here's Sivan. Sivan's a good girl. Do you see her?
The baby's upstairs in the bed.
Yeah, she's in her bed. But I'll go bring her. She's so cute. So she's Ayelet Esther, and Esther as Nesna Star, and she has 2 great grandmothers named Esther. So Ayelet really came to life for me so much with the Rosh Tevot of Ayelet from your class of healing with color.
Really amazing. Wow.
And you've brought such healing to me and my family, Baruch Hashem. So I just really, it's a tribute to you and your learning. Thank you so much.
Well, it's a good name, and that's the main thing. And please don't forget to catch the early bird for the new course today. I don't think
for sure. I'm gonna do
not on
it.
it yet. Most people from the class are already on it. Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, I'll sign right up. I have my little baby here. She's
Have you seen her?
You're gonna see it. She's putting on her little outfit.
So I know, but we can't wait so long because I have
Getting dressed up.
Where is she?
Oh, she's right beside me. She's just putting on her.
Never mind about the outfit. We wanted to see her face. Oh, so
we're gonna pick her up 1 second.
Okay, that's good enough. We saw her. Now I'm gonna go on with the class.
Okay, thank you.
We saw her. She's very cute. May she grow up and be as beautiful as Sivan.
Oh, here she is.
Oh, very cute. Wow, she's big. That's great. Okay, I'm very happy for you. A lot of mazel tov and a lot of may she grow up to be an Eshet Chayil. Lots of mazel tov. Now we go on here. So the color of heaven is what Techelet is. And so it's like similar to the endless sea and sky, reminding us of the infinite, which brings us to remember all of God's mitzvot. That's why the tzitzits are supposed to remind of the mitzvot. And by uncovering the secret of Techelet, we can hope to better understand the character of the mitzvot as a whole, says Rabbeinu Bachia. So now comes something very cool. The gematria of tzitzit, together the word tzitzit is 600, and the 8 strings plus 5 knots altogether equals 613. You see, I don't really see exactly where the 5 knots, but there are 5 knots. This is from Rashi. And now I'm going to explain you something, and we have to go back to that PowerPoint. We talked about how all color, some of their color is being absorbed and some is reflected. What's reflected? What we see in a color is the only part of that color that's not absorbed inward. And so usually the real color that's being absorbed inward is the opposite color of what is reflected outward. So now we're going to see something very, very interesting about the Techelet. Now I'm going to share again the screen with you. Okay, so let's see. For some, I cannot get the animations because I cannot get the regular. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the right one.
Murat, Robertson, right slideshow. You see slideshow?
No, but this is not the right one. It's missing that slide. I don't know what's going on. It's missing that main slide that I want to do for you. You got to see that slide. It is so cool. You know, the measurement of each color, it has like a specific vibration, and it's called nanometer. Nanometer. Okay, whatever that means. I'm going to have to find another. I also have it in another place, all the PowerPoints. I have to check what's going on. I've spent so much all morning preparing for today, and I just forgot. I thought the PowerPoint was already taken care of. I apologize profusely. Now I'm going to see, I have another one. That also, oh, here we go. Never mind about the animation. I just really want to show you here. That one has it. Forget about the animation for now, because that's not worth our time. But this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, Techelet gets its color from the absorption peak. So the absorption peak of 613, which is like the beginning of the orange here, because that's what's being absorbed in order to exude Techelet. Is what's absorbed is the opposite color of what is brought out. I actually like to wear, sometimes I wear the opposite colors like Techelet and orange together. It actually looks really good. And so you see here the nanometer 400 and 500 and 600. So 613 would be like something like here. That is exactly 613 nanometers. And as we said, that the Techelet actually is reflects the mitzvot, reminds us of the mitzvot. So I thought that's pretty cool because we have exactly 613 mitzvot. So basically, when our eyes see all the reflected color of the spectrum with the blue missing, then it perceives the color as orange gold. Ultimately, the color and vice versa, if it sees all the colors except the Techelet, the sky blue, then it looks, except the orange, then it looks like sky blue. And that's what's reflected back. So the precise measures of which wavelengths, usually given in a unit of nanometers, a molecule absorbs, its absorption spectrum is like a fingerprint, a unique way of identifying it. Studies of the properties of different dye molecules from Murex Trunculus snail revealed that Mama's Techelet molecule indigotin gets its color from a strong absorption peak centered at exactly 613. Now I want to talk about text number 14 from Haral, where he says Techelet is the language of Tachlit, the golden end purpose. And so, because the mitzvot that the Techelet reminds us of brings us to our purpose, to our end goal and purpose beyond the physical. And so that's like the end goal of the garment of a person's honor. That is the mitzvot, the Techelet, which is Techelet symbolize and represents. Now, Techelet is also called the color of mystery. Techelet is like the inside of the flame. So the white is the physical and a techelet is the spiritual. Very often, white is associated with clarity, straightforward logic. For example, in Hebrew, you could say hadvarim melubanim, which means like things are like it's white, but it also means it's self-evident. So white is like the rational, whereas techelet is the irrational, the mystical. These two in the tzitzit, they contrast with each other, these two colors. The mystical, the sky, the sea, beyond one's reach, beyond our control, the boundless, the vastness, the dichotomy of the rational versus the irrational is also found within our human perception, right? It goes back to the meditation we did in the beginning about the burning bush. Techelet and Lavan are both required for the tzitzit. They're interdependent. This is from Rav J.P. Soloveitchik. The symbolism of blue and white, man of faith in a modern world. So because that deep blue color gives us a momentary glimpse of eternity, Techelet connects us to the Torah. No matter how hard we strive to comprehend the sky and sea, or the center of an ethereal flame, we can never fully grasp the deepest designs of the Almighty or of His eternal Torah. Another thing that's interesting is that the Radziner Rebbe concludes his book, the Betil Techelet, saying, interesting, that Hashem will remove all evil and sickness and all the wounds and curses and all the baseless hatred. And actually, Techelet has exactly the same gematria as sinat chinam, baseless hatred, because Techelet has the ability to overcome baseless hatred. So so that's one reason I really, really love Techelet. Yes, Rina, you want to say something?
Does it have, Marat, Rebbetzin, you just blew my mind. I'm sorry. That's what my father used to say. Does this have a connection with Ein Narat, Techelet Gamkin?
Yeah. I mean, it's a color that unifies, and so it takes away judgment. So it's beyond. It's like the color of vastness that's beyond like all the separations that are, that are within this physical world. Since it's beyond the physical world, it's beyond the separations, it's beyond the judgment, it's beyond the evil eye. So yes, you're right. That's a good point that you're making here, because it is the color that's used like in Tzfat and all the walls to ward off the evil eye. But it's a little bit lighter, the color that's used there. Okay, so for healing, in ancient Egypt, blue represented sky and water, like heavens and the primeval waters, the place from which all life emerged. And it's also because of the Nile, blue is associated with birth and rebirth, because the annual flood of the river brought fertility to the land. Now, another reason I really, really like blue is it is calming color. It's good for people who are naturally a bit hyper, like me. It cools down inflammation, fever, high blood pressure, stops bleeding, relieves bursting headaches, and calms down strong emotions and anger, aggression, and hysteria. It brings tranquility. Tranquility, that's what I need. And that's why I'm so drawn to this color. It's also anti-itching, anti-irritation, anti-stress. Blue can be used for any time of ailment associated with speech, communication, or the throat. That's because it's in the throat energy center. It's excellent for laryngitis. So it's very good for teachers who want to express and communicate and speak. It stimulates the primary center of expression and communication through speech. And And I have a little story about that actually, which is really funny. As I was giving this class one time many years ago in Montreal, so there was a participant, actually an alumnus student, who came with her baby, which is always very exciting for me to see my alumnus students' babies, like just now. And but it was the baby was not so calm, and it was kind of like distracting. I noticed it was wearing like a red jumpsuit, and it was kind of bouncing up and down. And we said that red is the color of aggression, and also can be nervousness and instability. Like Reuven, his stone is red, and he got Yaakov told him this week's Pasha, like pachas k'mayim, unstable like water. In any case, so I guess she had to change that baby. And then the baby came back in a blue jumpsuit. I just know, and all of a sudden the baby was quiet as can be, calm, tranquil, no distraction at all. Just like, nestling happily in his mother's arms. And then I brought that as an example of what I was teaching. Look, did you notice? Everybody was like amazed because they all noticed it, because they all saw the baby in the red and then in the blue, and the change that happened. So like one of the important ways of healing with color is that by wearing that color. That's one way of healing with color, but that's important. That's something like we could do always. Wear the color that you need. It may not be the same every day. It depends on what's happening to you, where you're at in life, what you're going through, and you can need a different color at a different time. But I really saw so clearly how what this baby was wearing was affecting its mood. And so it is with everybody, but maybe on a more subtle way. And now we're moving to the next color, which is Argaman. I can't believe how impossible it is to read it. I'm highlighting it here, and we will ask Jeanette. How are you doing, Jeanette? Maybe you will read it for us. I'm going to share the screen. Are you ready to read for us?
The Argaman, yeah. How much do you want me to read? Just the first text 15 or?
Well,
okay.
Yeah, and also what we see here.
Okay. Purple is a royal color of honor, glory, and splendor. It is the color of comprehension and tolerance. Balances the energy centers in the body and heals depression. It represents spiritual development, bringing psychic healing, and enhances inspiration, meditation, spirituality.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something really cool before I share, and then we'll look at the handout. Okay, we saw Ayelet, we saw a lot of acronyms. Now we're going to see another acronym. Oops, no, don't jump. Here, come on. Argaman, the archangels. I just want to get out of this. I want to get out of this pin here because I want to point. Okay, so you see that Argaman is the acronym of Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Nuriel. In Hebrew it's an aleph, it's not a U, so it's Argaman. This is the color, and I have to move you up so you could see this, like different shades of it, but oh no, come on. There's different shades. These are all Argaman, all these different shades of it. And if I understood right, it's the same Murex Trunculus that produces both Argaman and Techelet. Argaman is if you take the dye off and dye it before it's been exposed to the sun. Once you dye it, then it stays Argaman. But in the process of the dye, if you use it to dye before that ink of that snail has been exposed to sun. You can read more about it on that website of Techelet. Once it's exposed to sun, then it changes to Techelet. And this is all written in the Gemara, and that's another proof that they found the right Techelet, because it is the same snail that produces both colors. You can find both. There's the Institute, which is in Ma'ale Atomim, on the way to the Dead Sea. And now I'm going to unshare, and we're going to see what text we have about the Argaman. So we have text number 15 and 16. So you will see, you can continue to read, Jeanette, since you're already unmuted now.
Sure. Text 15. When the red color is included in Yesod, then the color of Argaman is formed.
Okay, and then so that's why I said it's connected with Yesod in its Firot. From this, it's a commentary on the Zohar in text number 15, and now text number 16. Read that to Jeanette, if you don't mind.
Okay. They shall take away the ashes from the altar and spread a red purple cloth on it.
So I call it red purple because Argaman is the Hebrew word, because it's a little bit more to the red, if you saw the color. And so that is the color that's being used for the special cloth that covers the altar. So it's something very spiritual. The altar represents the connection between us and Hashem, represents spirituality, but it also represents royalty. And this is why but before that, it's interesting that Edgar Cayce, am I pronouncing it right? The book that one of you found, which book it was, that is about the auras. And he says that Argaman, purple, is seeking religious. And that makes sense, that this is the color of the cloth that covers the altar. That's like the altar is the center of our religiosity. And who makes for herself clothing of fine linen and Argaman? Does anyone remember? That's the Eshet Chayil. Ma batima hastala shesh v'Argaman lavusha. White linen and Argaman, purple, is her clothing. And that's the commentary. Ralbach says it's something desirable, it's and honorable and praiseworthy, not disgraceful. And Malbim says these are all parables for glory and splendor. Here comes the thing about royalty that I wanted to say. In Song of Songs, it says that the chariot, it's the chariot of the king, its seat is Argaman, it's purple. And, that's from Song of Songs 3:10. And Metzudas Tzion says this Argaman is a name of an important color. And Malbim explains the throne of glory is called Argaman. And this is the place where the holy souls emanate. Okay, so in summary, Argaman represents spirituality and intuition, also creativity and connection to our inner being, and connecting the inner being with the outer world, like the bush with the fire with the bush, the bush with the fire. It has spiritual healing effects to help people get to a positive and enlightened state of being. It can also persuade one into confidence and compassion. Lavender is supposed to be the highest shade of purple. That's the royal color, and also influences a calm and creative nature. So purple has a royal essence. And And some also believe that by having or wearing purple in bed, it can enhance dreams. And interesting because the stone that's good for sleep is amethyst and it's purple. Shades of purple is also associated with Chachmah and Binah, the third eye energy center, and the Keter, the crown energy center. So here now we have a little, we're gonna do one slide and then we're gonna do an exercise, a breathing exercise. One more slide. That is here. And I'm going to again share the screen with you. Okay, here we go. So this is not exactly from Jewish sources, but it still has a lot of truth to it. So there are 7 energy centers. I don't call them the names that they call them. And each one is supposed to have that color that I show you here. So it goes from the most physical, from red, to the most spiritual. Oops, too quickly, come on. The most spiritual, which is the purple, okay? And so it's just interesting how we said also that, so it's not exactly the color of Techelet here, the throat one, we said that was, Techelet had an influence on the throat and communication because it's the color of that energy center. And each one has an element and has an issue. It has a right to something. Okay, take it a bit with a grain of salt. But the notes actually, they do correspond in the Sfirot. Those notes as well. It starts with the C, the Chesed. Okay, I'm not going to go there. That's a little bit complicated here. But those energy centers, they correspond to Sfirot in the following way. The red is Malchut. The second center is Yesod. The third is Netzach and Hod, the personal power. The fourth, the green, is Tiferet, the heart. The fifth is Chesed and Gvurat. Chesed and Gvura, which also is in the throat. And then you get Chachmah and Binah for the sixth center, the brow, Chachmah and Binah, and the seventh is Keter, crown. That's how it works. So there's truth to it. Okay. And now I have a meditation.
May I ask a question, Rebbetzin?
Yes, please, no, Megillah. Bevakasha.
Thank you. The fifth, the blue. Did you not allude to blue being Chachmah and not Chesed and Gevurah in the throat?
Well, we said there were different possibilities in the two different sources I showed. One was Chesed and one was Malchut, actually. And now we're saying, now we're saying something else. So
yeah.
I'm always asking, what color are the Sfirot? What color are these? And the truth is that it depends. And it's hard to it's more fluid. It's not like something static. It's relative, depends, and corresponding to what. And we should not take all this too literal because it's a more abstract way of understanding it. But I that's the best I can explain. It's a very good question that you have.
Thank you.
Now we're going to do a little meditation. There's a helpful exercise is color breathing. Its purpose is to firstly heighten our awareness of color and secondly, to encourage a balance of all the 7 colors of the main energy centers of our well-being. Visualizing color is easy with a little practice. If we can visualize the color we need, we can access this color and its healing energy anytime, anywhere. So that's the second way of using colors in healing with colors. The first way is what we wear, and it can also be in jewelry. And that's what we wear. And if we have a client that we heal, we can tell them, you may want to wear more of this color, etc. And the second thing is meditating on the color that we need. But right now we're going to do all the colors. But while you're doing this exercise, you're going to get in touch with which color really feels the most soothing to you. And perhaps you will choose a color or a couple of colors that is what your body, mind, and soul needs. And you could do an abridged version of this meditation, just focusing on those colors. Stand with your feet slightly apart and arms by your side. Relax the palms, turn to the front. Relax the shoulders and concentrate on your breathing. Consciously relaxing all of your body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Breathing deeply in through the nose, holding for a few moments, then breathing out through the mouth. As you breathe out, imagine expelling all the stress, negativity, and toxins from your body. If you can do this exercise outside, all the better. And weather permitting, stand on grass with bare feet. That's more for the summer. Okay, breathe in red from the earth. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, giving you strength and courage. Make an affirmation to suit your situation as you breathe in and experience the color filling your body. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head, and then back down again to the earth. Mentally say to yourself the following affirmation. The energy of red fills my body, and I have the strength and courage to move forward along my life's path. Now breathe in orange from the earth. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head, and then back down again to the earth. Mentally say to yourself the following affirmation. The energy of orange fills my body. It soothes any aches in my limbs and strengthens my immune system. Now breathe in yellow from the earth. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head, and then back down again to the earth. Mentally say this affirmation to yourself. The energy of yellow fills my body. It calms my nervous system and digestive system. It promotes healthy metabolism, reducing anxiety and stress. Now breathe in green from the horizon in front of you. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head, and then back up again to the back. Mentally say this affirmation to yourself. The energy of green strengthens my heart, my lungs, and respiratory system, and helps fight viruses. It counters panic attacks and addictions. Now breathe in blue from the sky. Through the top of your head, imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head, and then back up again to the sky. Mentally say to yourself the following affirmation. The energy of blue is soothing and cooling. It kills germs, relieves headaches, and strengthens my communication. Now breathe in indigo from the sky through the top of your head. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel through the body and out of the top of the head and then back up again to the sky. Mentally say to yourself the following affirmation. The energy of indigo strengthens my intuition and brings about mental clarity and inner vision. Breathe in purple from the sky to the top of your head. Imagine it rising up through your whole body, energizing and invigorating it. Allow the color to travel up through the body and out of the top of the head and then back up again to the sky. Mentally say to yourself the following affirmation. The energy of purple heals my spirit. It helps relax me, enables me to sleep well, and eases any obsessions. Now envisaging yourself being surrounded by pure white light. This gives us protection. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. This exercise is done daily. You will notice how your color awareness develops, and you will be able to visualize the colors much more strongly and vividly as you do this exercise, regularly balancing and enhancing your body's energies. You can also do this exercise sitting or lying down, or as a light meditation if you wish. Anyone wants to share anything from this meditation? Did you connect to any colors more than others?
It was a bit fast for me to connect to anything. Would it be possible for us to get a copy of the text so that we can learn it off by heart?
Yeah, maybe. I will try to remember it, but it will be on your recording. You know, you can cut that part of the recording so you could do it again.
Oh, it's too fast. I would have to learn it so I could go slower.
Yeah, I did it a little bit fast. Thank you for the feedback. That's because we're running a little bit out of time. But you're right.
But it's so important. It's so important to have this in life that I really would love to spend the time learning this.
Okay, well, it's just a simple principle of it. It's not like black and white that it has to be exactly the words I said. Is that you take all the colors in the order, and you start with red, move from red to orange to yellow, then to green, then to blue, then to indigo, then to purple, and finally you end off with white. And as you move through these colors, you imagine them go through your whole body, from your feet to your head. And then it can, so the lower colors, the red, the orange, and the yellow, they come from the earth, and they exit you from the earth. The green, like from in front of you, and the higher colors, the two blue and the purple, they come from the sky. So it's like there's a logic to it, and it's easy to remember it in that way. Does that help you, Naomi?
It really does. The only thing I'd have to go back and listen to and start and stop and start and stop with the affirmations. Because that's what.
So the affirmation you can make up yourself, but based on what you learned, what each of the colors are good for. And you can change and adapt the affirmation to what you particularly need, because each color is good for a lot of different things. And so you can adapt the affirmation. Let's say, I need tranquility. So I'll just do that for the color blue, you know, and that it will bring me a tranquility, etc. And then like you could choose what you need from each of the colors. Okay, so I'm going on a bit. Now we have a new color, the last of all the colors, and that is black. So who would like to read text number 18? and 19, the two texts that's about black. Can I ask someone who hasn't read? Sylvia, would you like to read 18 and 19? It's almost the last of the text. Maybe it is the last text. It is the last text. You ready?
Give me just a moment to open it up.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay. Okay, so black is, am I saying this correct? Aish? Fire is the acronym? Ish. Thank you.
That's right.
Ish, fire is the acronym. Adam, red. And Shachor, black. Red is Gevora and black is Malchut. This is from the Zohar, correct?
Yes.
So do you want me to read the next part? I am black.
Yes. Okay, so this
I am black.
so now it's text number 19. Well, first, before you do that, I just want to paraphrase. This is from Tikkunei Zohar. So you take the word of fire.
What does that mean? Like the curtains of Shlomo in Song of Songs, the black.
Hold on. I was trying to explain. My internet went out, and I just
Okay.
to explain text number 18 first. That the Esh Aleph stands for Adam, red, and Shin stands for black. For Shachor. Oh, what's going on here? Some interruption, but I think we're going to be okay. So that's all. That red is Gvura and black is Malchut. And I'm using this text to prove what is the Sphira of black. Okay, so black indicates the dark exile and the darkness of a long night, which Israel experienced during the Roman exile. And now we're moving to black but beautiful, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the text of Kedah, like text number 90. And so what was your question about that? You had a question on
What is, yes, like the curtains of Shlomo in Songs of Songs.
Okay,
What is,
so that is
how does black relate to the curtains of Shlomo?
That's what's on the outside of the temple. There were curtains that were scorched by the sun and they became black from the outside.
I thought it was because of his fear of the night.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Maybe there's a few explanations.
I didn't know if that's related, but that's in the prayer,
I don't say that whole prayer. Very good that you say that. Let me just see in Song of Songs what the commentary says. Ketuvim, Song of Songs. Just remind me, what perek was it? What does it say? Perek Hey? I have to go back.
Aleph,
Aleph. Aleph
Yeah.
5. Okay, so let's see what the commentary says. Shachora ani v'na'ava. Okay, so Rashi says it's from being sunburned.
Oh.
Like there is a certain kind of tents that became black on the outside because of the rain, and they're always like outside in the wilderness. But they're going to become white like the curtains of Shlomo. They're going to be cleansed like the curtain of Shlomo.
Interesting. I thought, not knowing much, I thought it may be, like in the nighttime Shema, how we recite, the terror of the night, how there was 60 mighty men.
But that's a different
Israel.
pasuk.
Yeah.
That's another pasuk.
Yes, but I was just relating it to that where Shlomo and the night seemed fear and
Okay,
dark.
but that this pasuk is not about that. You know, that's
Okay.
in a different place. But basically, how I remember what it means is that the blackness that we have, and you could say that could be fear also, is something temporary. It can be washed away. It's just because of being exposed to the elements, and it can be washed away. And that's what it means. I'm black, but I'm beautiful, meaning my blackness in this case, we're not talking about like, you know, African people or anything like that. We're talking about a darkness of being exposed to the elements, and I can, you know, I can get back to that inner whiteness. And that's basically what most of the commentaries say. And you have to be very careful when you when you teach that to someone with that skin color, but it's not meant in that way. It is, you know, it's meant about those things that we darken ourselves with, like the sin is considered a black spot when a person sins. This as my blackness, but I can clean myself off it. I can do tshuva, you know, I can overcome that. Yes, so that's how I understand that. So let's look at the PowerPoint here with the black we got up to now. And here I don't have to highlight. So I'm going to, I found a picture of a black rose, which I hope you're going to like as much as I do. It's very pretty, isn't it? So here again, different opinions. What Sphira it is. Maybe it's Malchut, like we saw on text number 18. There's another source that says it's Binah. So what's the healing? Oh, went away. The healing. Let's read that also. Tivia, you want to read that also? What it says on the PowerPoint, the healing of the black.
Rebel, banish evil and negativity. Protection, banishing, binding, breaking, free from bad habits, addictions. Deep meditation opens up deep unconscious levels. Symbolizes seriousness, darkness, depression, death, mourning, mystery. Where am I?
Secrecy.
My picture. Oh, thank you, because my picture on this screen is my
secrecy,
phone, and I don't see.
Occultism. That's it.
Oh, thank you.
And so you notice, like, seriousness, for example, people that want to go to a job interview in a business, or they want to, like, they go on an important business meeting, they're going to wear like black suits, something black. Or even, you know, the yeshiva, the Haredi yeshiva men, they wear black and white. The black symbolizes the seriousness of their Torah learning. So that's one thing about black. A lot of people, black is a very popular color in our time. A lot of people wear black. Some, you know, in pre-corona days when I used to go to much more weddings, I remember being I have pictures even of myself in a wedding where I'm the only one who's not wearing black. So, in any case, it is also a color of protection. And I think that is why a lot of people wear it today. Like, we want to it's kind of a color that closes yourself in so that you have a protection around yourself with a black color. I'm a more open type person, so I usually don't like to wear black. Also, I guess I don't want to be so serious. You're wearing some black there, no Megillah. How does that feel? Tell me about the goodness of wearing black.
Today, I'm feeling a tremendous amount of anxiety and stress. So I put on black because I wanted all the colors to heal me.
Because black includes all the colors, but white also includes all the colors.
I didn't remember that.
Well, black actually includes the colors in a way that they block each colors from shining through. whereas white includes all the color in a way that they reflect them all. Like, for example, if you walk in snow, you will, when the sun shines on the snow, you will see all the different colors in the white. Yeah, but not
I
in,
did.
try that if you get snow. We don't have that right now here. Anyway, but it also has to do with this depth, going into the depths, the darkness. There are a lot of healing things with black. There is, you know, the protection is special and it can overcome addictions, black. It's kind of like a reset, you know, you turn everything off. And then, you know, if your computer, like today, we lost internet in my previous class over at the Midrashah. And everyone said, reboot the computer. So like black is kind of like a reboot. Stop what's going on now, like reboot. You overcome addictions by rebooting. So keep in mind also that in Hebrew, black is Shachor, which also means the dawn, like the darkest hour before the dawn. When you're in the darkness, it also shows that it can only get more light from here on. So in that way, like I have a nice word in English for dawn, day spring. I think that's a very cute word I found in my notes. This color is clothed in mystery as its darkness includes the light of all the color within it. Like you said, no, Megillah. During our long exile, darkness traps all the colorful expressions of our spirit, yet black also has the potential for redemption, as within its Hebrew name, the light of black is hidden to be revealed in the dawn of redemption. So black is the power of authority. It can be used for protection. You know, Joseph's stone was a black onyx because he needed a lot of protection in the evil Egypt, in the dungeon, the prison that he was thrown in, and he had a lot of divine protection. I don't have to, I can stop sharing now. We already saw all of that. So black is the color also, it gives off an air of professionalism and strong willpower. And that's what I said about the business professional. They like to wear this black. It's like a no games approach, serious. Sophistication as well. Okay, so we're gonna do a little recap of power, the power of color healing, which is also known as chromiotherapy. So it can be implemented in a number of ways. One way that I really am fascinated with is how it was in the ancients, also in ancient Egypt. They built great halls of color healing where individuals entered and were bathed in light that was filtered through various colored glass panels of windows. Energy healers often supplement their healing work with color healing. I do that like in meditation. And I don't do it so much. I should do it more, really. I used to do it more. You can also like mentally meditate on a patient or a client, or sending a specific color into a specific part of that person or that entire part of the person. Like you imagine sending that color. In healing, colors act as balances, and we administer the color or the colors that someone needs more of. And sometimes we give the opposite of the color that someone has too much of. So now I'd like to do the recap also with the PowerPoint. So let's see, here's the recap. Who can read that? Let's see. Where is the share screen? Who's ready to read the recap? Michelle Gilbert, you haven't read in a long time.
Hi.
Hi.
So
White promotes healing of body, mind, and spirit. White light is a natural pain reliever, increasing and maintaining energy levels and relieving depression and inertia. It helps bone and tooth maintenance. It dispels negativity. Oh, went away.
Oh, it's my fault. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Dispels
Sorry.
negativity from the body's energy field.
Yes, body dispels negativity from the body's energy field. Red stimulates the entire system, releases adrenaline, boosts energy levels and sluggish immune system. Red is linked to reproduction and fertility and relief menstrual problems, sexual dysfunction, especially impotence. It also counteracts anemia. Green, it strengthens the heart, lungs, and respiratory system and helps to fight infections and viruses. It also counters panic attacks and addictions. It helps regrowth of tissue and cells. Blue is a natural antiseptic, soothing and cooling, lowers blood pressure and slows the pulse. It relieves headaches and migraines. It calms strong emotions like anger, aggression, or hysteria. It counters any ailment associated with speech and communication. Excellent for laryngitis, sore throat, or inflammation of the larynx. Purple is especially potent for healing the spirit. It is neurosis and obsessions, and is a natural sedative. Purple relieves allergies, asthma, sleep disorders, eye, ear, nose, skin problems, and migraines, and can aid in childbirth.
Very good. Now let me just show you. I have this other one in the other PowerPoint. I have it a little different. Oops. And I know we have to end soon, but I just want to, which one do you like more? I don't have too many things I have to choose. This one is maybe easier to read.
I think this one is easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missing the black. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the different ways of using color therapy. So one thing is the clothes we wear. Another way is through silk. If you see over here, there's I don't have that, but I'm doing a lot of like healing through the phone lately. So, but you know, if you want to really go into color healing, you would probably want to you want to buy a set of the different colors in silk. Silk specifically transfers energy the best. And so, you know, I'm sure we could find somewhere on eBay to buy just like a one color silk scarf. I have still like a vision of how beautiful that would be to have someone come into my healing office and I put the light down and you put on them the color of silk, you know, like a big silk scarf and whatever color they need, or all the different colors, or you know, a couple of them, using your intuition, asking Hashem, you know, what color is good for the person, listen to what they say, what they're suffering from, and using, you know, your own, opening your channels to know. So you have like all the colors from purple to indigo to blue to green, yellow, orange, and red. Okay, and so if you have like these 7 different colors and then one white for clarity, and maybe even a black one also. So it's like an investment of 8 different silk scarves. It's not like a huge investment, really. Maybe one day I'll do it. And you got the idea how to use that in healing? It's pretty cool.
I found a source years back, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, that was selling the scarves with natural dyes.
Or maybe
which made it
send me the
different.
link and I'll send it to the group with the.
I'll look it up to see if it still exists. Yeah, and I'll go back and find that.
Great. And so that specifically with silk is important. Another way is solarized water. I use that. This is my water bottle. Okay. So you put water in it, you let it stand next to a windowsill. In the summer, shorter time, in the winter, longer time. And the sun will help the water absorb the color of the glass of the bottle. You can also, put some kind of colored something on the outside of a cup. You see on these cups here, but these bottles, you have all the beautiful colors. You could drink the water. It's not a problem. But if you put oil in them, it will also be a therapy that you could use that in massage. But then you shouldn't drink. You shouldn't ingest that oil for whatever reason. But you can use each one of these colored bottles and use it to make color infused water or color infused oil. That's good for massage. Solarized water is also not only like in a bottle, it can also be a shower like that with maybe you have different filter on a window, different color filters. But what I really imagine and what they had in ancient Egypt and what I think would be really absolutely amazing is to go into this room where there's these windows and these colors and each room is a different color and you just bathed in that one color as you move from, you can lie down and the pillows and the whole decor is that color in that room. I could see it to be a very healing way of the mode of the healing of redemption, to have these different colors, that rooms you can go into and receive and be really infused with the color throughout your whole being. And so I'm ending for today with that. Let's see, is there more? I think we've finished. This is the last. That was it. Let me see if the other PowerPoint has anything else. No, it's the other one.
Rebbetzin, what about with stones?
So the same exact thing, except that the stones have other things. Each stone has their own, their own particular healing properties. In addition to that, the color of the stone also has the same color property as what we learned. So if you use a stone, am I wearing any right now? For example, let's see what I'm wearing here. So that's a little bit of an opal. And this blue one here, I think, what is it called? It's supposed to be good for communication. I know at this moment I'm very tired, but it's also the color together with the properties that it has. So you have to work that out. You have to look it up. Okay, so that's not the topic now, and we definitely don't have the time for it. I do want to end with, I had a whole other meditation, but that also we don't have time for. But I do want to end with that, God willing, as spiritually growing and evolving beings with deep love, gratitude, acknowledgement, and awe and fear of heaven, we too will once again be able to use these celestial colors that we learn about to ease childbirth, treat disease, and to help the soul separate from the body in its journey from this world back to its divine source. That could probably be using the color black. It's also for people that help, in that journey. And for birth, it would be another color. What do you think would be the color to help a woman give birth? She needs a lot of energy, right? But so it depends. If she's too hyper, you don't want to. What? Did you use any color in your birth?
Yes, I actually had a rose quartz, and I had a carnelian, and I also had a black tourmaline for protection, carnelian for like strength and vigor, vitality. And I had also an abalone pearl, which is really good for compassion and maternity, motherhood things. So I had about 4 or 5 stones. And I was wearing earrings that are called kunzite. They're like pink earrings, which are also really good for mothers. And I took a Tylenol, like my birth, I took a little Tylenol. And yeah, but the stones are really good. Actually, now I'm wearing fluorite stones, which some of them are blue and some of them are golden. So golden's good for like your self-empowerment, and blue is always good for communication. And together it's good for like mental clarity and focus. So
Right.
for the Zoom, I was focusing.
Right. Well, Mazel Tov, and I wish that we all will see the beauty of all the spectrum of the and learn to accept one another. Each of us, we are alike, we have our own color. And Hashem created all these beautiful colors in the world. Each one has its own special healing quality. And we don't want the whole world to be just blue or just green or just yellow. That would be so boring. And it's so beautiful that we can all exude the color that's us, our special color, and we can all love and enjoy each other's colors and not try to impose upon anyone that you have to be like me. We all have to be who Hashem created us to be. And all of us have that healing power within us. And I want to wish you all a really amazing time. And I know that already Michelle and Rina and Tivia and Rebecca, you're going to join us, and
Yeah, sure.
some other people from the other course that are not here now. I already signed up. So today, I hope Jeanette and Nomi Gila that you will also join us. This is the last day to get the early bird, and B'ezrat Hashem will learn more. We'll learn some new things, and some of the classes I've never given before on an online course. I've given them only on my tours, on my international tours. So be very well, and we'll be in touch. I'll send you the recordings either later today or tomorrow, because I'm too tired and it takes too long. I'll wait till tomorrow morning. Okay. Be well. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to miss you. I hope that I won't miss. I am glad for those that I will continue with. For those who I won't, I will miss you. Be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rabbi.
Bye-bye. Don't forget to send the link, Rena.